across the country. This is Dr. Chitra Gupta, Professor, Department of Pharmaceutics, Lloyd Institute of Management and Technology, welcoming you all on behalf of our institute to this very important session on avenues in quality assurance for pharmacy students. To deliberate on the topic, we have with us today Mr. Satish Babu, Director QA, Jubilant Generics Limited. Before we begin, a humble request to all the participants that you kindly put off your microphones and videos during the session, and you can put your queries in the chat box. We'll enable your audio as well as video during the end of the session towards the end, where you can directly address your questions to Mr. Satish. So before we begin, let me first introduce our speaker for the day, Mr. Satish.
Yeah.
Sir is Director Quality Assurance from Jubilant Generics Limited. Sir, can I request you to put on your video? Satish, sir. So, sir is Director Quality Assurance, Jubilant Generics Limited. He is Masters of Pharmacy in Pharmaceutical Chemistry from Hamdard University, New Delhi, and Master of Business Administration from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University, Hyderabad. He has more than 22 years of experience in quality assurance functions at various middle and senior management positions in GMP, GCP, and GPVP environments. He has served several reputed organizations like Dr. Reddy's Laboratory, Aurobindo Pharma Limited, and Access Clinicals Limited. He is an IRCA certified ISO 9000-2008 lead auditor and also certified in ISO 17025, 9001 and 15189. He has several research publications in national and international journals of repute and has deliberated at several platforms and recently delivered a talk on data integrity and big data analytics in pharma industry at Amity University, Noida for faculty development program. So welcome Satish sir. Welcome to this session. Students, let me first trace the evolution of quality assurance in pharma industry for you before handing over the session to Mr. Satish. In 1902, first conference was held in Brussels, which was called by Belgian government, and this conference resulted in an agreement for the unification of formula of potent drugs, which was ratified in 1906 by 19 countries. This was followed by thalidomide tragedy in 1956, which gave new directions to incorporate stringent measures for safety of drugs. Drug regulations made a breakthrough during this 19th century and laid a strong foundation for modern research and development. In 1962, FDA approved for the first time the concept of efficacy along with safety for NDA through the Kefauver-Harris Amendment, which revolutionized the drug development. At the same time, FDA brought in GMP and GCP, GLP regulations in order to ensure the quality and reproducibility of pharmaceutical products. In 1967, second edition of International Pharmacopoeia had specifications for quality control of pharmaceutical preparations. 1989 and 1990 saw introduction of ICH guidelines, and then came the latest concept in quality management, which ensures quality by bottom-up approach. Quality by design is the latest version of quality management in pharma sector, which covers the designing, development of pharmaceutical products, their manufacture and formulation in order to obtain products with predefined qualities. January 2013 onwards, QBD has become a mandatory requirement for filling NDA applications. Hence, looking at the developments and evolution of quality assurance in pharma sector, we can clearly see a dire need of professionals catering to the stream of quality assurance in pharma industry. To make you aware of various avenues for pharma students in QA, I would like to hand over the session to Mr. Satish to take you further in this direction. So once again, welcome Satish sir, and over to you.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Thanks to Dr. Chitra Gupta and Dr. Lalit Kumar Tyagi for this invite, and Lloyd Institute of Management and Technology. Okay, the objective of this session is just to make a better understanding about quality assurance in pharmaceutical industry, and what are various avenues with respect to building a career in quality assurance. So that is the basic objective. Basically, the gap between industry as well as educational institutes should be as minimum as possible, and the institutes should work closely with pharma industry so that the requirement will match for easy gelling up when you build a career in pharma industry. So that the information what industry is expecting from the educational institute is a very important need on the day. So I'm trying to help in this process to have a better understanding so that you can develop those qualities in the direction which suits to the requirement. So that is the objective of this presentation. And I'm just sharing my slide. Nothing great about this presentation, but more important is just you will have great picture how career in pharma industry with respect to quality assurance. Now I'll share my screen just to have a quick presentation. So this is quality assurance. The quality assurance, when you look at quality assurance, people will get confused with quality control and quality assurance. And now the awareness with respect to quality assurance based on different guidelines and based on the global regulatory requirements, all are aware about quality assurance and role of quality assurance in the pharma industry, which has become a integral part of the system. So now just going to a brief content of this, just giving an introduction, what is QA and QA as a profession, and what is the scope in the various areas in pharma industry like GLP, GCP, GMP, GPVP, and QA functions, and what are the career advantages. Coming to quality assurance in pharma industry, in the pharmaceutical industry, quality assurance is essential for ensuring that pharmaceutical products are manufactured to a safe and consistent standard. QA is a very broad field that refers to any aspect that may affect drugs quality during its research, development, manufacturing, distribution, and sales phases. So when you take QA as a profession, what are the basic core concepts, core aspects will be there as a part of your day-to-day job? There are three main core concepts: conducting of independent audits of product development, manufacturing process to assure management of compliance with applicable regulations. So any activity which is under process need to be evaluated constantly to give a feedback to the management. That is the basic requirement of quality assurance. And provision of expert and independent advice and consultation relating to interpretation of regulatory requirements, regulations, and QMS. So basically, the quality assurance is an independent department which reports directly to the management. The people who are in other areas like production, quality control, they are basically with respect to adding value to the productivity and providing a service and producing the product or converting the product. So there is an independent system which always have a keen eye on what is happening across the industry and what are various changes are happening with respect to guidelines, regulations. So those things will be interpreted to transform into a SOP and which will be implemented by collaboration with, by coordinating with the operations team. So that is very important aspect where quality assurance persons will help in the interpretation of regulations. They will be update with respect to all regulatory requirements. And integral part of corporate risk management framework, any new task, any feasibility, any kind of collaboration, they also check with what is the risk with respect to regulatory before going for some kind of agreement. For example, if you take a selection of vendor and you have to understand what is the risk, what is the background of it, or if there is any specific feasibility inquiry, there will be risk will be evaluated by coordination with quality assurance. Now coming to QA as a profession, what is basic qualifications, skills, knowledge, and behavior required? A QA professionals report to senior management. This is what I said, and it is an independent department, and it will not report to the operations head. So it is very important. You should be highly visible across the organization. So whatever the statements or communications will have a significant impact across the organization. So any issue which come across during the routine process, the communication with the senior management will have a sensitivity and will have a feedback mechanism so that the entire organization will be have attention to resolve that issue. So any kind of communications you make, you should be very careful and highly, you should be highly visible. What is the issue and what is the background of issue and how it will be rectified with appropriate providing a corrective actions and preventive actions. So that should be in your objective to resolve the issues rather than the highlighting the issues. So that is very, very important. And basically in current industry, pharmacy and science graduates are will be accepted in industry as a quality assurance person, but it is always there is a edge for pharmacy graduates, especially with a specialization of quality assurance, to be part of quality assurance profession. But the science graduates also will be part of this industry, especially with respect to bulk industry, manufacturing of intermediates, manufacturing of APIs. So they also science graduates with especially with MSc organic chemistry, and they also will be part of this area. But as a overall, the pharmacy will definitely will have a better edge with respect to accommodating or building a career as a quality assurance personnel. Either it may be a formulation or it may be API. So quality assurance is a very compatible department. So any pharmacy graduate with quality assurance will be acceptable across all kind of industries. Coming to the level of the persons who are building career in quality assurance, they must be confident and competent. They should possess better interpersonal and communication skills, pragmatic problem solving ability, have a sense of humor, able to see the big picture, able to quickly assess whether non-compliance problem is important or not. This is very important. When there is a non-compliance, you have to look at what is impact on the process. Non-compliances do happen, but evaluation of the impact and root causes and escalating the issue to the management is a very, very important factor. And able to put the problem in the context and suggest pragmatic and practical solutions. This is also very important. You should always in a position how to demonstrate or how you will provide a practical solutions to the specific issue. And you also need to have good knowledge of the regulations and guidelines. You have to interpret the issue with respect to impact and connecting with respect to regulatory requirement. So coming to scope, any pharma industry, we all aware of that good manufacturing practices, or there should be a good practice. Either it may be any activity, it is a laboratory or clinical research or distribution or manufacturing. So this is the normal terminology they use in the industry, as many guidelines, including US FDA, will use this kind of terminology, like laboratory GLP, clinical research GCP, pharmacovigilance GPVP, and manufacturing, good manufacturing practices, good distribution practices. So any person who is building career will be part of any one among these practices. So now the quality assurance main objective is to develop a quality management system. What is quality management system? If you look at this, it is nothing related to quality control, as normally there will be a slight link. So the quality management is a very bigger aspect. Its basic concept is quite simple: recognize interest party requirement, including license to trade guidelines, customer requirements, and chosen management standards. So every company will have a different kind of services, different kind of products, and there'll be a vendors or customers. So when you produce a product, it should be in line with the specifications of the vendor or the person who is receiving the product, and also should have regulatory requirement to have appropriate licenses to execute the work, and management requirement with respect to specific process like quality, cost. These all are things will come under management standards, and they always give high importance to the quality, and ensure that all requirements have met. Confirm that employee receive applicable training in the quality system and requirements. In the industry, whenever a person do join, there'll be an induction training program followed by a specific GXP training, followed by certification. Then only he will regularly involve in the day-to-day job. Till the completion of training, he will not be part of any activity. So the training plays a very vital role in the pharmacy industry. Determine processes, their interactions, inputs and outputs. It is also very important. All input materials should meet a particular specification, and the process parameters should be established, and the output specifications should be well defined. Produce records or evidence that system requirements have met. So there is a quote like, if you don't document, it is not done. So even if you're done, if you don't document, it is interpreted like you have not done the activity. So there should be a document evidence, appropriate document evidence for each activity which you perform. That is very important requirement in line with the GXP guidelines. Measure, monitor, and report the performance of the QMS. So the QMS means it include all process controls like deviations, change controls, or any quality events will be trended, and the performance will be measured. And plan changes to QMS and take actions to address risk and opportunities as a result of changes. If there is any change, the change has to be evaluated and should be implemented in the stipulated timelines, and interaction with other processes. What will be the impact impact on the other processes? So these all are very important as a part of planning any changes. Just give a small example here. There are two modules of sterile manufacturing unit. So there is a washing machine at one module which has not working properly and become old, 10 years old. So similarly, there is another line which they wanted to close down the line for further expansion. So the idea is shifting that particular washing machine in the another module to the module where the equipment has been become old. So now this is it comes under the change, and the operations people come up with a proposal saying that shifting of this new mission in one particular line to the another line where the equipment has become old. But when it has been evaluated by the change control, the cost involved with respect to facility qualification and with respect to shifting and stopping the operations and output, the change is not viable. So that is where the evaluation of changes are very, very important in line with making the equipment meet the requirement in the defined environment. And perform internal audit to analyze QMS and correct non-conformities. This is very, very important. There should be all the staff will be busy in doing their day-to-day job, and the visibility with respect to the issues which are happening on day-to-day basis in the execution of the process. There should be certain system which will give the feedback for the scope of improvement, or there are any errors in the execution. So internal audits will play a vital role and give the information to the conduct of the particular process or conduct of the particular department in line with the defined procedures and defined regulations, or impact on the quality or impact on the process will be captured as a part of internal audit and will be reported to the management. And continuous improve the QMS. So this is also a scope for improvement. You should always look at the process. You reduce the non-conformances and improve the scope for improving the quality. So these all are part of roles of QMS. So by this you will understand what is the bigger prospect of quality management. Quality assurance people will have a opinion like documentation practices, or like no control of the SOPs, or working on the system by sitting at one corner. This is not actually close to the requirement. The concept of quality management has evolved a lot, and the expectation is very high, and very, very important for any organization, and it has become an integral part of the system in line with the guidelines. Now here, this is a very important topic for you guys, and how the career with respect to quality assurance, what are various roles a quality assurance professional will perform in the industry, like QMS, where they will involve in the evaluation of change controls, deviations, and of course documentations. These all are comes under quality management systems and preparation of SOPs and supporting implementation trainings. So these all are comes under the scope of QMS. And coming to validations, so the quality assurance personnel build a career in validations who will be the better fit for these all functions which have been mentioned here. And the validations, again, there are different kind of validations based on the activity what you perform, like process validation, method validation, like any analytical method which has been developed. So that method need to be validated. And cleaning validation, it has become a very, very important part now, cleaning validations. And most of the citations which are uh, given in Form 483 by US FDA or related to cleaning validations. And it is very, very developing area, and very well clear established standards are available in the industry now. And computer validation, and it is also very important computer validation where there is a data integrity. This is automation, and there should not be any provision uh, with respect to erasing of the data and controlled use of the generation of the data. It is, we call it as a part 11 compliance. People are aware of it, and the data which has been generated should not have any options to change, eradicate, delete. So this all comes under the computer validations. And handling of market compliance. The handling of market compliance, it is very important. All operations people, they will be busy in producing the product or busy in analyzing the product. There should be some team where they look at the market compliance, need to work and give the response. And of course, it is becoming a mandatory requirement with a specific timelines. Suppose there is a market complaint, sometimes it may lead to recall of the product. And coming to qualifications, so the qualification has become very important now, like it may be instrument, or it may be equipment, or it may be facility. So this is also a nice area for the quality assurance personnel to build a career. And investigations, so this is also investigations. It is a little beyond the process of internal audit. It is not only with respect to systems and impact, it is a specific issue of the failure or any kind of, suppose those are comes under the investigations. And documentations, control of the documents, and archiving the documents. We need to archive the documents for 10 years, 25 years, based on the requirement. So of course, audit and compliance, it is also a new area where a specialized team will be available to support internal audits, vendor audits, customer audits, regulatory, and any certification process. And here, in general, there will be expectation of core competencies. So these QA functions are common, including QMS, but the core competency will vary from function or type of industry. Like preclinical assurance, including toxicology studies. So this is the area where GLP requirement comes into the picture. But the functions remain same. Procedural compliance and whatever the concepts we have understand under the scope of QMS. And if there is any analytical method, there is a scope of method validations and audits. Either it may be in process or retrospective. If any activity has been executed in line with the protocol, the quality assurance personnel will review the raw data in line with the protocol for appropriate documentation, and the data which has been generated, actually the report which we are generated, the information provided in the report is accurately available, verified in the raw data generated. So it may be toxicology study, it is a pharmacodynamic study. These all are comes under the preclinical studies. And coming to clinical research, we understand clinical research include phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, and bioequivalence studies as on date. So these are all are will have a two core areas like clinical, like working in a hospital, and for bioequivalence studies, analyzing the compounds in the bioanalytical laboratory to evaluate, understand the concentration profile, which is a requirement to file an ANDA or to get approval in regulated countries. So PVG assurance, it is also a developing area where pharmacovigilance team to evaluate the safety of the post-marketing and reporting to the agencies about uh, safety issues. And coming to developmental QA, yeah, it may be analytical, chemical, FRD, ERD. So the developmental QA, either it may be API or it may be formulation. In case of API, they will call it as a analytical and chemical, and FR&D and ER&D. The FR&D people, as Dr. Chitra mentioned, process quality by design. It is a new concept. The quality by design, the application is completely different. The expectation of the industry is understanding the dynamics of transfer of the product from pilot to pivotal, and how the process will impact on the final specifications of the product. It is a very, very important area which rapidly developing now. Otherwise, the basically they always support QMS with respect to developmental QA, as because they are not coming under the scope of regulatory inspections. So the basic purpose of quality assurance is limited to QMS with respect to developmental QA. And coming to manufacturing assurance, we all are aware that APIs, formulations, so, and there is a provision working as a IPQA and production assurance, analytical assurance, and sterile assurance. So in the manufacturing of the industry, quality assurance normally will have divisions like one division work on production assurance, one division will work as a analytical assurance. Production assurance will include IPQA, where they will go and support the in-process checks and specific parameters in line with the batch processing record, and analytical assurance, retrospective review of the data, whether the testing parameters executed and whether they are meeting with the specifications or not. And coming to sterile assurance, it is another new area which if it is a sterile product, looking at the sterility controls, environmental controls, and how to evaluate the any failures with respect to any sterility aspect or aseptic conditions. This all are, comes under the scope of manufacturing assurance, and they depend upon the scope of the core competency. A person working in API or a person working in sterile assurance, maybe the functions are same with respect to other quality assurance persons, but the core competency is different. So the building the career with respect to quality assurance will also supported by core competencies. As long as your core competency within quality assurance, and the process of quality assurance will remain same, but the procedures and output will be different. So based on that, you need to develop a core competencies. You need to understand where you will be better fit, and you should understand your aspirations, where you wanted to build a career. Then moving forward to understand the job role, what kind of job role you are going to perform, and accordingly you have to choose your specific career in that particular area. And coming to advantage of QA professions, these all are not limited. Just give you a better idea about it. So once upon a time, quality assurance, they feel because there is no value addition by the quality assurance personnel. Like for example, a person in production, he will produce a product and he is adding value to the company, and he's a very important to any company. Similarly, a quality control person add value by testing of the product, and he's very important to the company as they are doing certain activity which add value to generate a product. But when it comes to the quality assurance, the amount of the money invested and the role of the quality assurance personnel were very limited in the earlier days, but based on the requirement of regulations, multiple markets, and most of the global customers are expecting some of the pharmaceutical products from India, and they need to comply multiple standards across the globe. So, and it has become a mandatory with respect to having a quality assurance division. We should be independent and should report to management. So when it has become a mandatory, any rule or any law will have a tremendous impact with respect to the industry. For example, now BS4 cars are stopped and only BS6 has to be manufactured. So the impact will go on all manufacturing processes and all research processes, all strategy build-up. So similarly, when the particular function has become mandatory, so the industry picture will change, and every industry will work on that particular area, and they will add or invest to the people to meet the requirement. So when it is a mandatory, it is a requirement and applicable to multidiscipline and multiple industry, better exposure, reports to management, multi-skill development, and consultancy. Here, what I would like to give the information is, for example, a person who joins in production. So there is an industry, and he involved in the granulation of one particular section, and his exposure is only looking at the granulation. Or if it is a compression, he will be responsible for taking care of that compression, maybe 1 mission, 5 missions, or 10 missions. Now high throughput missions are also came based on the multiple products. And if it is a coating or it, so the entire span of the time he will spend in that particular area is limited to only one particular process. So the amount of exposure in the industry will be very precise for that particular person. Similarly, if you take a quality control, a person who is analyzing the raw material or intermediate or finished product. For example, in the industry, for example, there is a paracetamol, there'll be 100 lots will come, and the person who is involved in the analysis of paracetamol, he need to analyze the same tests which need to be performed throughout the his stay in the company. But when you are part of quality assurance, you will have an opportunity to look at other part of the activity. You can look at one person is analyzing paracetamol, or one person is in the compression, another person is in the coating, another person is in the granulation. So your exposure will be not only limited to one particular process. You will have a very bigger picture, and you will have a better understanding. You will understand the entire process as a whole in line with the final outcome of the product. And also you will be very keen with respect to regulations and guidelines which add value in the implementation of the systems. So at one particular phase, the quality assurance was not so interested. When the quality assurance has become quality management system and mandatory, and when there is a huge regulatory scrutiny is happening, and the importance of quality assurance has increased, and it has become availability of appropriate quality assurance personnel is a definitely a bigger challenge for the industry. So that is the advantages which you have. And the person who is in API quality assurance will shift to formulation quality assurance, and if a person in the formulation quality assurance may shift to developmental QA. But at the same time, the person working in API industry moving to formulation industry may not be that easy. Similarly, vice versa. So when you have a specific competency with respect to fluidized bed dryer or compression, you may not be compatible with respect to process in another industry like API, like method development or clinical research or pharmacovigilance. But when you are a part of quality assurance, the acceptability is very high because everywhere the QMS will be precisely same, and accommodating yourself with respect to that particular industry, it is a little easy and acceptability is very high. So when you have this kind of option, your scope for opportunity to learn, to opportunity to contribute, and to have a consultancy will be very high. So I understand on the current situation, quality assurance is also a very interesting area to build the career. So that is what I wanted to present this information to entire the group, so that you will have a better idea about how this profession and what is the work you are going to do, what is the industry expectations.
Thank you very much,
So
sir.
thank you.
That was a very interesting presentation, and the way you have outlined the skill sets required in a quality assurance personnel, I think it must have been very informative for the students. And the way you have explained about the internal audits and their importances, and how important quality assurance is to pharmaceutical industry, that was just wonderful. So let's go on to the audience for some audience questions. We have one question from Pushpit. Priti, I would request you to enable the audio and video of Pushpit so that he can address his question to sir. Participants, meanwhile, you can put your questions in the chat box if you have any questions to ask. Pushpit Singh, you can address your question to sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, my question is that is practical knowledge is more important in QA, manufacture or these field, because as we know and we studied that the audit and handling of marketing and complaints and documents means all these are at a field of the company having the more knowledge. If we read more and more, and we can get more means more information, or we can prefer to go to any company or explore it and getting more knowledge. And what are the fields and what are the more companies means expenditure, and if we get any job regarding it, and how much pay we get or how much we can earn in it. Thank you, sir.
Uh, if I understand correctly, the question is which area is very important, and where I will get a better opportunities to get a job. third thing is what is the optimum, right?
Is that what you want to ask, beta? Are all questions?
Sir, my question is that is practical knowledge from preferred more than theoretical knowledge in QA? Like example, the audit we handling of market complaints and documentation it seems like it more practical knowledge is needed, like sir. So my question is
Uh,
that.
so what you are trying to say is being a quality assurance person, you will be having a theoretical knowledge and you will not be having a practical knowledge. So that will be a disadvantage to push further. That is what you are trying to explain.
Sir, I think he wants to understand whether practical knowledge is given more weightage than the theoretical knowledge or your mark sheet while selecting a quality assurance person.
Okay. Uh, Basically, with respect to curriculum, I'm not sure how uh, you meet the industry requirement. And maybe I can answer the question in another way. For example, being a part of another discipline, you might be working with a particular project on maybe on tablets or maybe on particular analytical method or maybe a certain pharmacological screening. But when you go to the industry, that practical knowledge may be not relevant and the area where you are working is not close to that particular project. But only the important thing is science which you have used to develop that particular project. That will become a very important. So that will happen learning from the experience of the doer. So you need not to perform particular activity to get expertise in that particular area. So maybe I answered your question.
Pushpit, are you satisfied? You want to ask anything else? Pushpit, anything else from your end? So, sir,
Maybe I will add some more detail here.
yes, sir.
Nowadays, there is a banking sector. In the
Right, sir.
banking sector, a person with engineering degree doing MBA from a reputed institute will come and join as a CEO of the company. And what practical knowledge he will have on the bank transactions?
Yes, yes, sir, I understand.
Where nowadays the information available is very huge. And for example, I am working in a quality control. My job is analyzing a paracetamol, doing a assay by titrometric method or using a HPLC. So I am keep on doing it and I have a better practical experience doing that particular job. Maybe I have done 100 samples in a span of 1 year. And being a quality assurance person, you need not, to get a understanding about the process of analysis. You require to do that particular activity to have a practical knowledge, not
We have
required.
not required, sir.
So we need to understand the process, and we need to. You are looking at a very bigger picture, very bigger picture. How the specification designed, what is the regulatory requirement, and what is the analysis he's doing. Whether he, what kind of uh, errors he will do in the process. For example, there is a dilution from X to Y, Y to Z. Uh, so you look at the process going for X to Y and Y to Z. You look at the process completing from X to Z is by eliminating process Y so that errors will be minimized. So you are looking into that level of commitment or that level of focus to improve the process, to understand the, to minimize the error.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
Pushpit, for asking the question. So next question is from Ankita Mishra. Ankita Mishra. Preeti, can you enable
Yeah,
her audio video? Ankita Mishra.
please, Ankita.
Ankita, are you there?
Yes, sir. So I want to ask that what are the opportunities offered to the students who wants to join QA department as a BPharm graduate? What positions will he or she be offered?
Yeah, these are all positions, whatever I said, maybe. So these are all professions. Maybe if you could able to see my screen, so you can develop your career in QMS or validations or performing audits and handling market complaints, qualifications of instrument equipment facility. These all are areas you can build your career.
Sir, another thing I think I would like to add to our question, how a BPharm graduate can approach a company for jobs, because that is a problem.
I understand. Maybe it is very difficult. Maybe this getting a job, approaching to the industry for a job. Maybe it is not close to our objective of building a career in quality assurance. Because nowadays, what I understand is maybe in general, what I will say that demand and supply and
Yes,
standard of education. So
right.
these are two gaps which cannot be addressed. There is a problem. Otherwise, in general, you have to approach through the HR and start a company with low profile company, low profile job, high profile company, low profile job, low profile company, high profile job, high profile company, high profile job. So if you follow this approach, probably you will be going to bright chances. Maybe I can explain little further. You start your career with a smaller industry, with a smaller position. So low profile company, low profile job. And you shift to high profile company, low profile job. Like when you have a build up a experience in the defined area, you can go to a bigger company with a low profile job and work there for put off your experience and try for high profile company, high profile job. So that kind of transition you have to adopt, and you have to establish your communications and contacts, and you have to approach.
Ankita, I hope that answers your question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine, fine.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, another thing I would like to ask you is that what qualities is company seeking in fresh incumbents
Uh, this
while
is
hiring
uh,
fresh incumbents? What are the qualities you are seeking in for QA profession, basically?
basically quality assurance is a kind of management job. So the person should be very confident, and he should have a external good communication skills. Apart from that, he should be very clear on his basics like process and interest, and how he understand the issue, and how he will put across explaining your understanding to the team of the people. So this is very, very important. Maybe I can compare with two situations. a person giving an interview for R&D, a person giving an interview for quality assurance. The person who is giving an interview for R&D, the industry expectation is how knowledgeable he is, and whether he is an introvert or extrovert doesn't matter to the company, and communication skills or doesn't matter to the company, and the project and the area he has worked as a MPharm project, and how close to the company's requirement. But when you look at quality assurance person, it is very important. The person should be extrovert. His communication skills are very good. He should be confident, and the project what he has done in the MPharm, whether it is close to the industry process is not relevant.
Okay.
But he should have a good uh, confidence on whatever the academics he has completed. He should be very clear on it.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Very rightly said. So, students, your communication skills, confidence, and certainly your knowledge, all the three things together can help you fetch a placement in QA. Then, sir, one more question. We, as an institute, we are running MPharm in quality assurance. Not many institutes are doing that. Particularly in AKTU, there are only 2 institutes which are running MPharm in quality assurance. So, do you have any suggestions to make for us that what kind of projects should we give to our students, MPharm QA students particularly, so that enhances their employability prospects? Or they can perform better in interviews, or they can be a useful candidate for the industry.
One requirement is he should be familiar with all regulations,
Okay,
and
sir.
what is the requirement for US, what is the ICH guidelines, and area of interest, like maybe specialization with respect to API, or specialization with respect to sterile, or specialization with respect to formulation, or specialization with respect to QBD, or specialization with respect to developmental QA. So their inclination towards that particular area will be very high, and he will opt for it, and probably he can also have an option moving forward. Like maybe I'll give you an example. Initially, there was a in engineering CSE, means computer science engineering. Nowadays, in CSE itself, there are subsequent branches like data science, artificial intelligence, or
Cloud
something like
computing.
that.
Huh.
So when you define the project, you should give the project to the particular person based on his interest, whether it may be API or formulation or biologics or sterile assurance. So it will
Okay.
maybe help.
So it will help in increasing their specialty or focus in a particular area, basically.
Yeah, and the gap between the industry expectation and his curriculum will be less, and scope of absorption is very high.
Okay, okay, okay. So he can be focused rather than being taking up a broad topic. The topic, as per you, should be a focused topic so that he increases his knowledge or goes into depths of a particular aspect.
Yeah, exactly right.
Okay, okay, okay. So we have many teachers on board also. So any of you, would you like to ask anything? Sarika ma'am, Kumud ma'am, Vivek, any questions from your end? Because the students seem to have no questions, but maybe the presentation was so explanatory by itself. They have no questions. So any of you wants to ask any questions?
Chitra ma'am, Sarika here actually.
Right, right. Please, 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 ma'am, go ahead.
Thank you, Satish sir, for such an informative talk. I just wanted to ask one thing, like for especially for quality assurance, like whether industries take up people from post graduation as trainees, or because see they have very limited knowledge, theoretical knowledge, more of it. So do industries prefer taking them in quality assurance, maybe as a trainee also, so that they can be more upfront with the knowledge or with the latest what is going on, because practical knowledge is not given completely at the institution level. I hope I'm
Yeah, Yeah, of course. And industry do accept trainees as a starting career in quality assurance
Okay.
without any practical knowledge.
Okay. Based on the theoretical.
Yeah, based on the theoretical. Suppose a person completed quality assurance uh, in MFAM and he can join in any industry as a trainee in quality assurance.
Okay. Thank you.
Another thing, sir, this is my question, that a lot is being talked about the industry academia gap these days. And you
Yeah.
also mentioned recently that we should try to bridge this gap through our projects and all. What other steps do you suggest to overcome this gap? How can industry partner with institutes, or how institutes can approach the industry so that this gap is bridged? One of the efforts that we at Lloyd are making is that we are inviting industry people often for some talks to the students or for some conferences or webinars like this. What else can we do?
Madam, this is maybe like no regulations. Basically nowadays, just I'll give a example. When I was interviewing a candidate for quality assurance, he has come up with a resume saying that he is doing MFARM and the
Yes, sir.
same period he is doing a job in the company.
Okay.
So when and the person who is giving the interview, he don't have any hesitation to say that he's doing MFARM parallelly and working in another company, and both he has been captured in the resume. So what it indicates, whether the what is the culture we are developing as a part of pharmaceutical education, and what is the standard we are maintaining as a part of it. And so that is the gap which need to be addressed. The value of the education and competency of the education and substandard, these all are no making a bigger gap between the industry and the educational institutes.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you very much, sir. It
Yeah,
was an enlightening session. Looking forward to more sessions with you, and we will keep you inviting more often for the sake of our students. And maybe we can invite you for some guest lectures for our PG students as well. You can be very useful to them with your experience and knowledge. So I think that is all for today. And I would, before I end the session, I would like you to thank you with a bouquet presentation, sir. So everything is virtual these days. So this bouquet will also come virtually to you.
yeah,
Let me
no
share
problem,
my
madam.
screen.
Thank you so much.
So this is your bouquet, sir. Uh, it is screen share nahi ho rahi. एक minute, sir. There is some technical problem. Let me just share my screen. Sir, I'm trying to. Just wait.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank
I
you so
hope you
much.
like these roses, and we'll send you your certificate by mail. So
Yeah,
thank you very much for joining us and sparing your valuable time.
thank
So
you,
we'll
madam.
quit
Thank you
this
so
meeting.
much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It was nice interacting with you.